rid of me, but no. Actually, I'm here because I'm going live with Kelly Cutrara on AM 640 in just a few minutes to talk about a couple of things that she wanted to chat about. So that's what we're going to do. And I figured I'd bring you along for the ride because, well, that's how I roll. I want to keep you all in the know. And we just did an hour and 25 minutes, almost an hour and 30 minutes of traffic and police questions for Ask a Traffic Cop. That's what we do on weekdays between 10 and 11, which tends to go to like 11:30 almost every single time. But you know what we do? We do our best. And then we do some more. And, of course, this is the second last episode until, well, way into December when we're going to, I think I'm off until the 20-ish. We're going to leave it at that because I'm going to go somewhere warm. Not that it's really cold today, but you know what is coming our way? Some winter weather. It is winter after all, and winter weather is going to make its way over here. And I want everyone to be prepared for it. That winter driving tips, and we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about, well, holiday ride. And I think we're going to talk about trucks and collisions and what to do on the highway. So stay tuned. Just a few minutes, we will have Kelly join us, and then we'll talk about it in 30 seconds, in fact. 30 seconds, I got my notice. I'm gonna hush so we can make the transition nice and smooth. We're almost there.
You're listening to the Kelly Cutrara Show. Thanks for being here. 900 CHML in Hamilton, 980 CFPL in London, 640 Toronto in the Big Smoke, and anywhere on the Radio Player Canada app, which you can download at any time and stream. Listen, I am sure I am not the only one who is sick of yelling something out in my house and getting absolutely no response. Here's something that will respond when you yell it out. Hey, Siri, or hey, Google, hey, Alexa. Play 640toronto.com. Finally, you will be heard, and your smart speaker will start playing 640toronto.com. About as simple as that. And boy, oh boy, you can get us crystal clear 24/7 wherever you are by streaming the show. I highly encourage it. All right. It was talking about this viral video of a truck rollover this weekend. Happened Saturday. And it was on the 427 ramp going to the Gardner, the southbound ramp. And people were asking, what is your responsibility when you witness an accident on the road? Because there was a car following very closely behind a Coca-Cola truck who does a little like wobble wobble. And unlike a Weeble, it just fell over and ended up on its side. And the car behind it decided, well, I'm going to sneak by on the left and keep driving. So what are your responsibilities when you witness an accident? Are you supposed to pull over and wait for the cops to show up? Here to talk about it, Sean Shapiro, TikTok traffic cop and friend of the Kelly Cutrara Show. Hi, Sean.
Hey, good to be here.
Thanks so much for dropping by to talk about this. So if I see an accident, am I supposed to stick around as a witness?
So if you're involved in a collision, you're required to by law. But if you simply witness one, you're not obligated. Now, polite society says you should be checking on the driver and the people involved in a collision. That's what I do, not just because I'm a police officer, but because I care. So stopping and making sure everybody's okay, possibly activating police, fire, and ambulance if that's required is something you should do, but not required legally. So the driver in the white vehicle that kept on going didn't break the law, although I'm disappointed in them.
Okay. Could the driver of the white car be blamed at all for this accident? It looks like he was tailgating.
No, that big truck, if they even knew the car was there, is responsible for their own actions. If they wanted to slow down, they could have. The little car didn't make the driver go faster.
Does it seem like speed was a factor in this video? I mean, it's hard to tell how fast they were going. The viral video is out there, but I've been watching it over and over again, and I can't tell what went down.
Well, it looks like there was a zig and a zag. And you know what it could have been, although I'm speculating entirely, is it could have been a distraction of some kind, overcorrection of steering. It may not have been speed, but I don't know for certain. Very often you find someone who's not paying attention, and like I said, they zig when they should have zagged, and they try and overcorrect. And those articulating vehicles, semis, they have a mind of their own. Once things get going, it's hard to stop.
Wow, is it ever? That is just it's unbelievable watching this vehicle just flip. So, just to be clear, unless you're directly involved in an accident, you do not have to stay on the scene.
Right. If you simply witness it, you're not legally obligated. But again, it really is a fact that someone could be injured, could need help, and you could be the fastest and best source of both information to police, fire, and ambulance, or to give first aid if necessary. So, should you stop? I think you should. But you're not legally required to unless you're directly or indirectly involved. So if that driver had cut them off and caused them to swerve and avoid, they would have been involved and would have been required to stop.
I know a lot of people have dash cams, like this person that caught this truck flip over. If you have dash cam video of an accident, what's the best way to present it to police?
Contact police that governs the jurisdiction that you're in. So in this case, it would be in the OPP on the highway, or the Toronto Police had it been on the Gardner Expressway, and that would have been made available to us, saying that, hey, I witnessed it, but I didn't stop. If you want to get a hold of me, here's my number, and then we can get a hold of you, send a link for you to upload your video, and add that to the case.
Sean Shapiro is the TikTok traffic cop, joins the Kelly Cutrara show right now. Sean, you wanted to talk about the festive driving season because it's upon us. I think that really this coming weekend will be the start of Christmas parties, whether it's office related or just socializing.
We tend to see a lot of people enjoying, and sometimes enjoying includes alcohol or recreational drugs. We want to remind everybody that this is not a time to be behind the wheel of a motor vehicle. We got lots of options here in the city of Toronto and in cities across the country. Cabs, Ubers, all these companies and ways of getting home safely. Don't drive. We are out on Festive Ride. It's been going on since November 16th. It'll go into the new year. And people get the wrong idea. They think that Festive Ride is when we start pulling people over for impaired operation, start looking for people. We're always looking for impaired operators. And the only difference now is we have more officers out during the season because of the number of people celebrating and possibly tying one on. So if you're going to be out, expect to be stopped. And there's something called mandatory alcohol screening. So even if there's no odor of alcohol, there's no suspicion that you've consumed, you may be asked to provide a sample regardless of that. And you're obligated
really?
by law. Yeah.
Okay. Don't they want to kind of keep things moving though?
Well, we have a lot of people who don't show signs of alcohol. Right. And mandatory alcohol screening came out in, I think, 2018. And it's just, it makes it completely unbiased. People who aren't necessarily drunk or showing signs of inebriation yet, but they have it in their system. We're catching those people early before they start to feel the effects, or if they're really good at concealing them or drinking something that doesn't have a strong odor. So this allows people in an unbiased way, officers to check everybody going by. And it may be 1 in every 5 cars they stop, but whenever they stop them, they're likely giving them that test. Or if they have reasonable grounds, or a reasonable suspicion that they've consumed alcohol, they'll make it on different grounds. So there's different ways to make that request.
I wanted to ask you how often these ride programs are looking for people with cannabis in their systems.
Well, they're looking for people who are impaired, whether that be by drugs or alcohol. It doesn't matter. If we see signs of intoxication, and it could be, and it's not by way of alcohol, but they're still acting in a way that is suspect, we have drug recognition experts, and we could bring them before them to do a battery of tests, and based on their performance, they can have the same impact as having been drinking.
Okay, so the Festive Ride program, has it officially kicked off?
Kicked off November 16th. We've been in full force, and it'll continue into the new year. And of course, we're also reminding people that snow, it happens in the winter, and we may even see some today. A lot of folks who are, we forget. As soon as we see a sunny day, we forget that snow happens, that roads are slippery, and we want to remind everybody that we see an increase of collisions in this season. So slow down. If you've got snow tires and you haven't put them on, but you want to put them on, now's a good time. If you can make it happen. But speed is the biggest factor because the faster you're going, the harder it is to slow down. You need more room. So no distractions. The phones that people somehow still use while driving need to be put away. They should never have been in your hand in the first place, but just a reminder, you need to be focused on driving to be safe. And a lot of people in four-wheel drive vehicles think that you can get anywhere with a four-wheel drive. They do get going better in most cases, but they don't stop any better. So
Yeah,
we see a lot of
for sure.
overconfident SUVs in the ditch.
All right. Well, Sean, thanks very much for clarifying this. I really appreciate your time.
Always a pleasure. We'll see you later.
Cheers. That's Sean Shapiro, TikTok traffic cop on the Kelly Cutrara Show. Hey, speaking of drinking, alcohol over the season, have you seen this viral video? It's a doctor. His tip on.
All right. So that was our little spiel on the radio. We will say goodbye to the fine folks at AM 640. And I will stick around for a couple minutes just because I see a whole bunch of comments that I was totally ignoring. Let's see here. Kelly's good, but she's very loud compared to you. So apparently I didn't have my volumes up in comparison. So apologies if she sounded really loud and I sounded really quiet. Yeah, I'm not yelling. You know what? It's always interesting to see how they balance. So on their end, they sounded great. On my end, they were too loud. So my apologies for that. Let's see here. We got have a great day. Thank you. Thanks for all the information, Evandro. And I'll tell you, can't tell. Oh, I see. And Chase was giving some advice. Josh was giving some advice too. Awesome. Listen, it's been great. I am not sticking around, although so I got lots of stuff to do. I gotta edit a podcast that's going to play on Wednesday. I will quickly scan the chat on TikTok to see if there's anything that I can address quickly before I say goodbye. But before I do that, I want to turn this off. Okay. Tammy wants to know, I have so many questions to ask, not enough space to type, okay? Are any police departments doing anything for Christmas? My kids love meeting officers. Amit Singh wants to know. I don't know what the story is, if they're doing any open houses or not, but you know what? You can always come for a visit. There's always someone to say hello to. Let's see here. Can you get a ticket for distracted driving if you are in a drive-through? No, you can't. It's only applicable on the road. We got here... Okay, we got people answering. When I got in a crash, everyone just yelled at me for causing a traffic jam. That's terrible. I'm confused. I was told that as a bus driver, if I witnessed a collision, I have to stop. That might be a policy of your company, but it's not, and maybe somewhere outside of Ontario, but it's not a legal requirement to stop unless you're involved in any way, shape, or form. So if you were party to the collision, not just a witness. I grew up thinking it was a requirement, by the way. It was only after I became a police officer that there's no charge for I saw something, even though we'd like you to stop. Okay. McLaren collision and not aware of an HTA charge to report. There is no charge to report as a witness. It's a nice to do, but not an absolutely required. That's unconstitutional. The sticky one says that's unconstitutional. What's unconstitutional? Are we talking about the mandatory alcohol screening? It's been deemed by the courts to be absolutely acceptable. What else we got here? Ricky followed. Thanks for following us, Ricky. Why do police in Canada carry guns while others aren't allowed? What do you mean? Why do police carry guns? Because we're police. We need guns. Bad guys have guns, so police have to have guns too. Let's see here. Boop-a-doo. All right. How's your morning going? Asks Landon Rogers. My morning is going great. We've already done a live stream. This is just a little after because I was on the air with AM 640. Thought I'd bring you along. And, this question came in from somebody else. Maybe it was you. Maybe you missed the answer. David Jordan wants to know if someone can own a Tesla or other self-driving vehicle and not have a license but still drive it. The answer is no. In Ontario, you're required to be a licensed driver to be behind the wheel of a motor vehicle on the road. There's no such thing as a truly autonomous vehicle in Ontario. There's only two companies that qualify under the pilot project in Ontario that have level 3 and 4 cars. Or is that level 4 and 5? Regardless, they're the only ones that are truly autonomous. The full self-drive of Tesla, not autonomous. There's a beta software running. The driver is still entirely responsible for everything that happens, so you must be licensed to be in the vehicle as the driver. Otherwise, bad things will happen. Yeah. Okay. I got 4. What is this? Scrolling back. No, I can't scroll back. Why is it not letting me scroll back? Here we go. If I get a 4-point ticket with my G2 license, is it suspended until I'm convicted? No, you're suspended once you're convicted. You'll get a 30-day suspension. What if you get caught driving a G1 alone? You will get charged for G1 drive unaccompanied. You'll then be getting a suspension for violating your condition. So 30 days first time, 90 days second time, kicked out of the driving program this third time, and the person who gave you their car will get charged under the HTA unless you took it without their permission, at which point you'll be charged criminally for take vehicle without permission. Take vehicle, what is the actual wording? I'm tongue-tied. Don't know. Don't remember. What else we got here? Boopity boopity boom. Oh. So somebody says, oh, I thought you blocked me, and then proceeds to do stupid stuff and say stupid things. So now they're blocked. They were probably muted before. Now they're blocked. What a dummy. Okay. Nolan says, we love Toronto Police. Well, we love you back. Can I drive an e-bike on any road? If it's truly an e-bike and it is qualified as such under the provincial rules in Ontario, meaning it is not capable of going more than 32 kilometers an hour, doesn't have a motor more than 500 watts in power, and doesn't have, what else? It's no more than 120 kilos. Then yes, you can be on the road as a bicycle would be. That's about it. Let's see. Wait a minute. What's this? Let's see here. Chase wants to know, does this podcast include Carrie Schmidt? We keep talking about it, but it hasn't happened yet. And this, I love this. This is the trickle down effect. This is where Chase just noticed that I put my Henson razor to work over the weekend. Yes, in fact, last night, as I was trimming, and I got lower and lower, and like, I just hit the point of no return. I took off the rest of the beard. But I'm going away to a very sunny place, and when I'm there, I don't really want a beard, so this is perfect. And then I'll grow the beard back when I'm back for the rest of the winter season. But yeah, I don't want to be, no. South and beard bad, I think. Maybe I'd be okay with it. And in truth, I would have kept it if I hadn't oopsie-dooed. But I will tell you this. I was impressed. That razor did amazing work. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you check them out. Henson razors or Henson shaving, amazing stuff. Chase went and bought one and was shocked. He actually went to pick it up, and they shocked that they knew me. But I have a couple of them. I have their regular one, and I have their medium. And the medium one made quick work of my beard. Like it was nothing. Fresh blade and quick work. Am I allowed to drive a pocket bike at home? Sorry. Am I allowed to drive pocket bikes and homemade go-karts? Not on the road. They're not legally permitted on the road. So I'd be charging you for driving a motor vehicle without insurance. It would be a $5,000 to $25,000 fine for driving a motor vehicle on the road. Not to mention it's a prohibited vehicle and a whole bunch of other stuff. What's the rules for kids' car seats or booster seats? Go to trafficcop.ca. I got a whole bunch of links specific to that. Tell you all the rules. But ultimately, if you're having questions and you can't find the answers in the instructions, contact CIPSAC and let them walk you through the process. They can put you in touch with a certified installer or technician that can assist you. What is this? If you have one of those 8-can carrying cases from the LCBO or beer store, do you need to put it in what? I don't know what the question, where the question is going. Do you mean in the trunk? Okay. You can't have, if it's sealed from factory, you can have it anywhere in the vehicle, although it should be in the trunk. Just smart money puts it in the trunk so it doesn't become a projectile in the event of a collision. Westside wants to know about the sidewalk. E-bikes cannot be on the sidewalk in Toronto. Maybe in other jurisdictions you might be able to, but not here. Serafina got threatened by someone on Facebook being a hacker scammer. What would the police do? You could call and make a report, but it depends on what was said and done. Okay, we got here. Multiple use path vehicles are prohibited. It depends. E-bikes, if they're pedelecs, so there's no throttle and they look like a bicycle, but they have basically augmented motors that just augment the work that you're doing as a cyclist, they can be used anywhere. But if it's a scooter style where it looks like a motorcycle and those pedals do nothing, even if they're there for legal purposes but don't actually drive the vehicle, then you can't be on bike paths or bike tracks or anything. Not at least in Toronto. Okay. Have you heard about all the street racing / drifting lately? Depends on where. I haven't heard anything about it, but I'm sure our enforcement people have. Non-cop related question, but which headphones do you use? Greetings from Thunder Bay, from T-Bay. These are Sony's. I have a number of these that I use in the studio. Professional dynamic stereo headphones, MDR 7506. I've been very happy with these. These are the ones that we use in the studio here at work. At home, I have a whole bunch of different. I'm a studio headphone junkie of sorts. Actually, can I say that? I've got some very high-end, stupidly expensive headphones that may or may not actually produce better sound than these. These are quite good, and I'm not unhappy with them. They're comfortable. I wear them for hours and hours and hours. And the other ones are probably less comfortable, but the other ones are Bluetooth and wired, and noise canceling and all that jazz. These are just headphones. I used to use AKG years and years ago. For regular headphones, I don't know how. Like I have some Shure in-ear monitors that are amazing. I like the Shure stuff. I have a lot of those. Okay. Moon Landing says, "Hey, officer, how's it going? I have a question." Well, it's going well, and I have an answer, possibly, maybe. Have you ever, as an officer, found a G1 driver on their own and let them off for any reason? If I found a G1 person on their own, I would charge them with every possible thing. Absolutely. They would not leave with any ticket unwritten. I would ensure that they were charged for everything. They're unlicensed. I would ensure they were suspended because I write good evidence. There is no chance in that H word that I would let them off with a warning. They're unlicensed driving a vehicle. Their insurance wouldn't even cover them if they got into a crash. No. Never would I give them a break. Be sober, everyone different. Yeah. Being sober is the big thing. I can't give you a time limit. Everyone's different for how long it takes them to get rid of drugs or alcohol from their system. Can I smoke in my car in my driveway? No intent to drive after I smoke. No, you can never consume alcohol or drugs in your car, ever. How bad is 6 demerit points? Well, 6 is the largest number of demerit points you can get on a single ticket, so it's pretty bad. If an e-bike and a car get into a parking lot collision, who's at fault and who's liable for damages? Depends on whose fault. Just because the description of the vehicle is different doesn't make one person more or less responsible. It's possible that the e-bike caused it. It's possible that the car caused it. At the end of the day, it's on private property, so neither would receive charges, and your insurance company would ultimately be paying. If the car's insurance company would ultimately be paying for all of the damages, which is ridiculous but true. Okay. Can you pass on double yellows? In Ontario, you can. However, if it causes a collision, you're responsible. Just because you can't get a ticket for crossing the line doesn't mean you aren't responsible for your choice to do it. Is it true that radar speed guns don't work in the rain? They have a mode for rain, but they can be less effective if they don't have the functionality to use. But many people are not doing radar in the rain. But we also use laser as opposed to radar these days. What's this? Radar is illegal in Alberta? No, I don't think radar. Are you talking about radar detectors or radar? Let's see here. Toronto Police uses Dragon Eye LiDAR nowadays, yes. What would you do if you caught someone going 200 on a highway? I would arrest them for dangerous driving. Criminal charges, not just stunt. I would also charge them for stunt, seize their vehicle, and I'd charge them for criminal as well. Speed is a problem. That MK8, that white MK8 says, I am insured on my car with my mom's policy. Does that mean I can also drive my mom's car? A car is insured. If you're insured on one car, or if the car is insured, a licensed driver can drive on it or can drive it. Doesn't matter much of anything else. If the car is insured, you have an M2 or a G2 and G license, you can drive it. Unless it says you have to be a certain age or you're restricted from that vehicle. But generally speaking, you can drive anything that you are licensed for. Now, insurance companies want you to be insured on a policy if you live with that person. And if you're the primary driver of one car, then yes, you'd be insured on both. What is this? Is it true that stop signs in parking lots are not enforceable, not proceeding to public streets? Stop signs on private property are not enforceable. They're not on the highway. Have you ever caught someone with a radar detector in their car installed or hidden away? Yes. And we have full search and seizure authority. $180 ticket, two demerit points? I think it's 2 demerit points. We have the authority to search everything in the car and every person in the car because we can search. Let's see here. The insurance company wouldn't fix the damages for the e-bike. A statement isn't possible. The insurance company wouldn't fix the damages? I'm not sure. You had a situation and the insurance company wouldn't fix? You'd be able to make a claim. You could sue for that. Insurance company is responsible when you're involved in a collision with the car. They would cover you, especially if it was their person at fault. But just even if it wasn't at fault, it's a collision with a bicycle. Tony Bove says, thank you. You're welcome. Emma, what's going on? If I didn't see you earlier, hey, what's going on? What is this? Laws changed this year, according to David. I don't know what law you're talking about. Stunt on private property changed in 2021. It's not even a new thing. King Bradley. We'll mute you for icons. What's the severity and amount of a vehicle violation in order to plates to be taken? Depends. Generally speaking, you're talking about seizing, and so stunt driving would be one to seize the vehicle and impound it, not the plates. Full search and seizure. Oh, Corey says full search and seizure authority just at a traffic stop. Yeah, for radar in Ontario. Yeah, you can't own it, transport it, use it. Yeah, sell it, buy it. Let's see here. Okay. Can you please say hi to me before the end of 2020? Ryan Crosby, hello. Heretics Acid says, if I'm driving from Alberta to Ontario and I have a radar detector, can I unplug it and leave it once I leave Alberta? You can't technically have it in the vehicle. If you're not using it, we would likely never know that. But if we were to some reason find out that you had it, you'd be charged for it because you can't have it. Are you part of the Peel Regional PD? I'm going to go out on a limb and say no. All these logos that say Toronto, I'm going to say that I'm with Toronto Police. Let's see here. I'm glad you could sit here online, not answering phone calls, ignoring the non-emergency line. Shrek in my swamp. Well, let's consider that there's 1,358 people that have come through this particular chat. I was just on the radio in Toronto and talking to thousands of people. What I'm doing as a media officer, media relations officer, is talking to a whole bunch of people, not waiting for one call to talk to one person on the phone, because I'm not the phone person. I'm the internet person. There's different people for different jobs, but I appreciate your input, and thanks for showing the algorithm that you love us. Vehicle Valley, how's it going? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that jazz. Let's see here. Okay, I'm so thankful for the folks in the chat who answer questions that are being ignored by people who are asking them. It's weird. It's a little weird that people don't read the answers or don't listen for the answers after they ask a question. What do we have here? Do I have to report an accident after a single vehicle collision? My car was totaled. Yeah, you do. Any collision involving, well, if you hit something on private property, like a tree, you damage that tree, you're responsible to report. You totaled a car, it's more than $2,000 in damage, you're responsible to report. If you injured anybody, you're responsible to report. It's a whole bunch of things, even if that person that's injured is you. Shrek says, I sat there for 24 hours with no answer. Who are you calling for 24 hours waiting on hold? That doesn't make a lot of sense. That doesn't make sense at all. We don't have a 24-hour wait on hold. You would have been better off to drive to the police station, just saying, but if that was true, that you waited 24 hours. But non-emergency line, where you work at? Well, I don't work at the non-emergency line. That's the communications operator. It goes to somewhere else. The police officer didn't show up at court, but I still paid $60, but no points. Where was that? Sally got a ticket. I don't know where that is. But just because a police officer didn't show up doesn't mean you don't get a ticket or that you're not held responsible. Once upon a time, people believed that, and that's no longer accurate. Does the court have the opportunity to proceed? They do, and they can. Will some throw it out? Some will. up to the justice of the peace. Ba-doo. Is it legal to remove the back seats of a pickup truck? You can take seats out. You can't take the seat belts out, but you can take the seats out. It's illegal to remove the seat belts. Okay. If I've been drinking, is it illegal to call 911 to receive a ride home? If you'd like to receive a ride to jail, no, we don't arrest you for it. We charge you for it. That's against the law. You can't call to call for a ride. 911 is not a ride service. Call Uber. Call a taxi. Don't call police because you'll get a ticket for it instead of actually getting a ride. We don't do that. We're not the ride service. Cops are just pawns, like you're talking about pools of water? Or did you mean pawns? I don't know. I want to make sure I get your attempt at being offensive correct. So far, I'm assuming it's a typo, but you can practice. You'll get better. Let's see here. Heretics. Okay. I have 4 dogs. Should my dogs be on a dog seat belt when in a car? Yeah, Ryan, we would suggest that you use tethers or crates and secure them to the car. Safest thing for your animals, and also you can't have them on or around you. The big problem is that if you get involved in a collision, they become projectiles. They're going to get hurt, or even if they're not hurt, they could get loose after the collision, or they could hurt you, not because they're going to bite you, but because they're going to fall all over you. It's just a bad idea. So tethers at a minimum. What's it called? Crate is good too, if not better. Okay. Is it legal to merge onto the ramp while stuck in traffic? Not legal. You're driving off roadway and you can be charged. Like you're crossing over the bullnose. If you're just doing it inside the lane, it's a creep move, but it's not illegal. It does create traffic, even though you think you're moving 4 car lengths ahead makes a difference. The metalhead says, does it disappoint you to see corruption in the police departments in some towns? I will say this. Nobody hates a corrupt cop more than a good cop. And do we see it? We hear about it in the news. We see people being arrested now and again. Is it a major problem? I've not seen it or had experience directly, so I would not say that it's a major problem. I would say that there are bad people in every profession, whether it's doctors, lawyers, priests, anywhere. There are bad people who happen to slip through the cracks and get onto wearing a uniform of some kind. And those people need to be rooted out and charged or fired or disassociated. Yeah. No, nobody wants this. I'm very proud of my uniform. I worked real hard to get it, and I want people to wear it with pride and do the right thing when they're wearing it. So I think that 99.99% of coppers are in that situation of doing the right thing. Can I use my phone's app map while driving if the phone is secured to the dash? You can look at it, but you can't touch it. So you can say, hey, digital assistant, plot a route to this address. It'll do it, but if you're touching the phone, you're using it, and that's a ticket. What is this? No U-turns, yes. What is this? A U-turn sign. What's this about speed cameras? Trying to get back. Every time questions come in, it reloads. What's often the busiest day of the week at time for the Toronto Police? Every day, all the time. It's just always. We're Toronto. It's always busy. What is that? Okay. Are TPS officers allowed to conceal and carry? Police officers can carry concealed. We can carry in uniform. Yeah. There's different purposes, different reasons. We have plainclothes. We have all sorts of options. There's no concealed carry permit for personal use. No one can apply for that, really. There's a couple of instances where it can be issued, but it's so rare. It's not a regular thing. It's for like judges with death threats type thing. Very rarely. It used to be like 9 people in the province of Ontario had carry permits, but police officers are police officers 24/7. There are policies each police service employs for their members, but we can carry firearms. Is it harder to obtain a driver's license in Canada or the U.S.? I don't know. I had a U.S. driver's license for a period of time because I lived there, but I just traded my Canadian and then got a Canadian again when I got back. Speed and red light camera infractions do not affect insurance. That is correct. Any suggestions for a person wanting to pursue law enforcement? Be good. Like literally, follow the rules. Be a good example in your community and continue your education, volunteer, that sort of thing, go to trafficcop.ca. You can get links to, or you can just go to tbs.ca/careers for how to become a member with us. But police services across the country, if not North America, are looking for people. I saw an undercover car with illegal tints. Probably not a real police car. We don't tint our cars. Let's see here. Undercover car. We would have, like, I don't know where that would be. What do I do when I almost get rear-ended by an undercover cop with his lights off? Almost get. What you should do is, if you get cut off or if you get into a collision with an undercover cop, that's one thing. How do you know they're undercover if they're undercover? Undercover means they're not dressed as police officers. They're like pretending to be people that are not police officers. They're undercover. They have a cover story. Like he works at the garage and, or he fixes computers. Not a police officer. Do you mean an unmarked police officer? That's not undercover. That's just unmarked. You can always make a report, but if you didn't get hit, I don't know what you're reporting. Have you only ever worked for Toronto Police? No, I've worked all over the place. In terms of policing, I've only worked for Toronto Police. I've been here for I'll be entering my 24th year with the police service. But I've done many, many different things career-wise. Being in a vehicle that's turned off, waiting for boats to pass is locks. You can't be on the phone unless you're legally parked, not in park, but legally parked. Someone says it's pretty easy to spot an undercover cop. No, it's not. You wouldn't know. Someone who's not a good undercover cop, maybe, like he's wearing a shirt that says no, we don't. There are people that get that. Haven't you seen the movies? Undercover cops don't look like cops. They look like people blending in a rusted, crappy car. Denmark wants me to talk about the new Bearcat. I haven't seen it. I really want to go check it out. I don't know what they've used in the past. I'm not really an ETF guy when it comes to vehicles, and I think they're cool. I'd like an armored vehicle just because I drive around. I want to burn gas. Greg Marshall, I'm assuming it's Marshall. It is Greg Marshall. See, I only got the first characters until I hovered over. Afternoon show. Is it afternoon? It is afternoon. It was not intentional. I was on the radio, so I stayed on for an extra 40 minutes. Let's see here. Shine My Ride says they drive brand new cars. Not always. The ones you are noticing are brand new. Maybe, possibly. But, sometimes we have crappy cars. What are you going to do after retirement? I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe I'll be on TikTok. I have no idea. I've got a long time to go. I've got like 9 years, so I'm not worried. What is this? The Metalhead says, we appreciate all the police do for us civilians, and we love to see a respectful cop. That is fair. Thank you. Can I drive without a rear view mirror? It just broke. If you're talking about the one on the front windshield, yes, you can, as long as you have two rear mirrors that provide a clear view to the rear. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think firearms are legal in Canada. Firearms are legal in Canada. You can buy rifles, shotguns, handguns. Well, I don't know if you can buy handguns anymore. They recently changed that. But you can have firearms, and people who have previously been licensed and can possess them can have them. They can't carry them for self-defense. It's for hunting, for target practice, things like that, but not to carry for self-defense. Greg Marshall says, ask a retired cop. Chris says, thank you. You're welcome. I don't know what you're thinking. Oh, a rearview mirror. There you go. Why do the police cars have green and white chessboard squares in Barrie? Oh, you mean the design across the side of the car? For visibility. It's a very European design. Bubba wants to know, can I still get my PAL? You can get a possession acquisition license, which is what the PAL is, but not. I don't think you can get restricted. Although a friend of mine just took the restricted course, but I don't. Maybe it's for actually you can get it restricted because you can have a short rifle that requires a restriction, even though it's not a handgun. Things have changed so much recently. I don't want to give you bad advice. I'd check with the firearms office as to what's what now. I've lost my truck ownership paper copy. Can I get a replacement online? No, I think you got to go in. I think it's $30 or $40. Used to be $15. Got a ticket for parking that I was about to leave. Then another car pulled up and gave me another ticket. Color yourself lucky. That's good. Best answer to, do you know how fast you were going? It's irrelevant. I don't know why people ask that question, because we know the answer. And we're actually told not to use that question because it creates silly conversations. What is this? Is it illegal to make your car louder? In Ontario, cars say there's no, what is this? No. If you're creating unnecessary noise, you can get a $110 ticket. Happy Dinglebits says, can a firearm be used to protect a household in a home invasion situation if the invaders have guns? That's one of those situations where you're probably going to end up getting arrested. There was a chap who, you can find it in the news, a guy got arrested for shooting a guy who had a gun. And did he get off? He did, but he spent some time in jail, I believe, and his life was not happy. But he was alive. What is this? The metalhead says, what are they talking about? There is not good proof of speeding? I don't know what that was in response to. Do unmarked car or undercover cars have... Undercover cars don't have lights. Unmarked cars will usually have lights. Okay. Would you get pulled... Chris is asking again the same question. Can I drive without a rearview mirror? It just broke. You can drive as long as you have the side mirrors and have a clear view to the rear. Will you get pulled over? Possibly. Is it legal? Yeah. So should you get a ticket? No. And if the cop thinks you're breaking the law for not having a rearview mirror, tell them to watch this show. It's available on YouTube, and you can watch the replay. Let's see here. Why would you get in trouble for self-defense? And why do you get in trouble? Oh, that's a whole other conversation. You are allowed to use reasonable force to defend yourself. But that's complicated. And very often, people use excessive force, which you are criminally responsible for. Okay. How does the Tesla Cybertruck fare for traffic laws? I don't know, but I got a deposit on a Cybertruck, and I want to find out. No, it's a legal truck. I was watching a review of it last night in its most close to production style or setup. I want a Cybertruck. I didn't want it for a long time, but after seeing these videos, I think I want it again. I think I put a deposit down and said I wanted the triple motor. I don't think I want the triple motor. You get better range on the dual motor. Anyway. Why is it okay for cops to lie but make a big deal when we do? Double standards. Shine My Ride wants to know, what lying are we referring to? I don't know. I don't know what lying you're talking about. If we're undercover, we can lie. We're specifically permitted to. What 3 things you need when cops ask for? What? Are you talking about when you're pulled over by police? You need your ownership, your proof of insurance, and your driver's license. I don't know what else you'd be looking for. Corey Miller says, you really shouldn't be using your business account for personal issues with police. Oh, I don't know. I don't know who you're talking to, Corey. What's the fastest car in the Toronto Police Force has? We have a couple of Chargers, the Hemis. Do parking enforcement have a quota, and do you think incentives are a good thing? I'm not aware of any quotas. We certainly don't have them on the police side, but parking is not police. They're part of the police service, but they're a different unit. Actually, they have the same boss. My boss is the same boss for the parking unit. But I don't know. I don't know if they have quotas or not. Fact is, if you break the law, you deserve a ticket. And it's an on-off thing. I see it, I write it. It's not a, do I think I should write this person a ticket? You do write the person a ticket. Catalytic converter etching, are we still able to do this? Is irrelevant. Not sure. People still steal them. And etching is to avoid them being stolen or being able to sell them. But I don't know much about that whole thing. I don't do the theft of stuff. I do the collision of stuff. What is this? Catherine Hall says, Hellcats? I don't think they're Hellcats. I just think they're Hemis. Are train horns illegal? Not on trains. Actually, could you be in a situation where you're using it legitimately on a car? I've seen them mounted on the motorcycles. They're loud. Can you get a ticket if you're driving a dirt bike without a license on a dirt bike path? Whatever the rules are. I don't do off-road stuff, but my understanding is you got to be licensed to be on those trails. What is this? Okay. I see a lull, so I'm going to make my exit. I got to go. Okay, Martin says, do police give out warnings anymore? It seems these days they don't as much as they used to. That's an individual thing. I used to give out a lot of warnings. I used to be about 50-50. And then I saw a lot of people who would take warnings, and then they would get caught doing the same thing. Well, the warning didn't work. So, yeah, it's an opportunity for us to be very nice, and it's also an opportunity for someone to just keep doing the behavior that they were doing when they got caught the first time. I think that tickets are the most appropriate way to respond because that actually gets recorded. See, if you get a ticket, you have more chances of stopping the behavior. Now, if you had, let's say, 10 things going wrong, I might write you 5 tickets because they're serious and 5 tickets for document stuff that's fluff that should be documented because you did wrong, but we can let that go. So instead of hammering you with 10 tickets, even though you deserve 10 tickets, I might give you 5 and 5. Or if I pulled you over for speeding, I might give you the full speeding ticket, but I might give you a break on the, forgetting your driver's license at home, which is still a ticket you deserve, but why hit you twice when you don't have to? All right, I am out of here. Big Jeff Fresh says, you must be the lowest paid officer per interaction with the public. Yes, if it was based on individual interactions, it's very possible. Dude. Okay, you're right. Chase says, looked it up. I said single ticket only has a max of 6 points. I was wrong because fail to remain has 7 points. Thank you very much for looking that up. Once again, Chase is on the case. I finally got to use that in this context. Okay. Yeah, always bringing out the book and looking stuff up. Much appreciated. See you tomorrow. I'm leaving. I got to go record a video before I go home. So, yeah, I'm out of here. We'll see you tomorrow. Drive safe. Drive sober. Park legally.